Stop spending 50 grand on a truck when these legends cost half that and look twice as cool. You see guys dropping crazy money on brand new pickups, thinking they're getting something special. But here's what they don't tell you. Some of the coolest, most reliable classic trucks are sitting right under your nose for way less cash than you'd expect. Today I'm showing you 10 absolute gems that won't break your bank account, but will definitely turn heads everywhere you go. Chevrolet C10 Square Body. Let's kick this off with the king of affordable classics, the Chevy C10 Square Body from 1973 to 1987. These trucks are everywhere, which is exactly why they're such a steal. You can find a decent driver for anywhere between $8,000 to $15,000. The beauty of these trucks isn't just their looks, though that boxy design aged like fine wine. It's the fact that every single part is still available. Need a fender? $20 at the junkyard. Engine swap? The small block Chevy drops right in with zero drama. Here's something most people miss. These trucks were built during peak American manufacturing. The steel is thick, the frame is solid, and they're simple enough that your neighbor's kid could work on them. I've seen guys buy beaten up C10s for $3 grand and turn them into showstoppers with just weekends in the garage. Ford F100 series. Next up is Ford's answer to the C10, the F100 series from the 60s through 70s. Now here's where it gets interesting. Everyone knows about the famous 67 to 72 bump side F100s, but those are getting pricey. The real secret is the 73 to 79 F100s. Same reliability, same classic Ford looks, but about half the price because they're not quite as trendy yet. These trucks came with the bulletproof 300 straight-six or the equally tough 302 V8. Both engines are dead simple and parts are cheap as dirt. You're looking at 10 to 18 grand for a solid example, which is practically pocket change compared to what people pay for new trucks that'll be worthless in 5 years. Dodge D-Series Power Wagon. Here's where we talk about the underdog that everyone sleeps on, the Dodge D-Series, especially the Power Wagons from the 70s. These things are built like tanks and priced like bicycles. Seriously, you can find decent examples starting around $6,000. Why so cheap? Simple, they don't have the cult following of Ford and Chevy trucks yet. But here's the kicker. These Dodges were actually ahead of their time. The crew cab models from the late 70s look absolutely modern compared to the competition. Plus, they came with the legendary 318 and 360 V8 engines that'll run forever with basic maintenance. The four-wheel drive system is bulletproof too. International Harvester Scout. Now, let's talk about something really special, the International Harvester Scout. These aren't technically pickups, but they've got that utility truck vibe that's absolutely perfect for someone wanting something different. Good Scouts can be found for $12,000 to $20,000, which sounds like a lot until you realize these are genuine classics with serious off-road capability. The Scout 2 from 1971 to 1980 is where the sweet spot lives. They came with either the 304 or 345 V8, both known for being tough as nails. The best part? Almost nobody knows what they are, so you're not fighting huge crowds at auctions. You'll have the coolest truck at every car show. GMC Sierra Classic. Here's something people overlook. GMC trucks from the same era as those popular Chevys. The GMC Sierra Classic from the 70s is basically a dressed-up C10, but costs less because it doesn't have that Chevy badge magic. Same reliability, same parts availability, but about 20% cheaper just because it says GMC instead of Chevrolet. The funny thing is, GMC actually put nicer interiors in these trucks. Better seats, nicer trim, more sound deadening. You're literally getting a better truck for less money just because of badge snobbery. Smart buyers know this secret. Ford Courier. Now here's where we get into the really interesting territory, compact trucks that are climbing in value, but still affordable. The Ford Courier from 1972 to 1982 is basically a Mazda B-Series truck with Ford badges. These little workhorses are perfect for someone who wants classic truck style, but doesn't need to haul a house. Clean examples go for anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000. They're reliable, economical, and have that perfect vintage compact truck look that's impossible to find in modern vehicles. Plus, they're small enough to actually park in normal spaces, which is pretty nice these days. Chevrolet Love. Speaking of compact classics, the Chevrolet Love is another hidden gem. Love stood for light utility vehicle, and these little Isuzu-built trucks were incredibly tough. Chevrolet Love pickups were small but indestructible little trucks that punched well above their weight, and that is why they can be hard to find today. The thing about Loves is they were work trucks first, style second. That means most of them got used hard and put away wet. But when you find a good one, you're looking at $6,000 to $10,000 for something genuinely unique that'll surprise you with its capability. Jeep Gladiator J-Series. Before the modern Gladiator, there was the original Jeep truck, the J-Series from 1963 to 1988. These trucks combined Jeep's legendary four-wheel drive system with genuine pickup truck practicality. The J10 and J20 models are still flying under the radar compared to other classic trucks. You can find decent J-Series trucks starting around $8,000, which is incredible value for something with this much character and capability. They came with a variety of engines, but the AMC 360 V8 is the one to find. Plenty of power and surprisingly reliable. Toyota Hilux and early Tacoma. Here's where we talk about the trucks that changed everything, the early Toyota compact pickups. The Hilux from the 70s and early 80s, plus the first-generation Tacomas from the mid-90s, represent some of the most reliable trucks ever built. Now, clean examples are getting harder to find because people actually drove these things until they fell apart. But when you find a good one, you're looking at $8,000 to $15,000 for a truck that'll literally run forever. The early Tacomas especially are starting to appreciate because people are realizing how good they were. Datsun 720 and Nissan Hardbody. Last but not least, let's talk about the Datsun 720 and its successor, the Nissan Hardbody. These trucks were the definition of honest transportation. Not fancy, not powerful, but absolutely reliable and dirt cheap to maintain. The 720 trucks from the early 80s can still be found for $3,000 to $7,000 in decent shape. The hardbody trucks from the mid-80s through mid-90s are slightly more expensive, but still incredibly affordable. Both are gaining recognition for their simple reliability and distinctive 80s styling. Here's what's really happening in the classic truck market. The obvious choices like early Broncos and first-gen Camaros have gotten stupid expensive. But trucks were work vehicles first, which means there were tons of them made. Supply is still pretty good for most models, keeping prices reasonable. The secret is buying before the trend hits. Right now, compact trucks are just starting to heat up. Full-size trucks from the 70s are still affordable compared to muscle cars from the same era. And anything that's not a Ford or Chevy is probably undervalued just because people don't know about it. When you're shopping for any of these trucks, here's what matters most: rust and mechanical condition. A truck with surface rust, but a solid frame is worth way more than something pretty with frame problems. Most of these trucks are simple enough that engine and transmission issues can be fixed without breaking the bank. Also, don't get caught up in matching numbers nonsense. These were work trucks, not Corvettes. A truck with a later engine swap might actually be more reliable and valuable than an original that's tired and worn out. Here's something nobody talks about. Classic truck insurance is dirt cheap compared to new vehicles. Most insurance companies classify anything over 25 years old as a classic, which means lower rates and sometimes agreed value coverage. You could be paying less than $100 a year to insure a truck that would cost you $300 a month for a new equivalent. Registration is usually cheaper too. Many states have special classic vehicle plates that cost less than regular registration. Some places even exempt classics from emissions testing, which is huge if you're in a strict state. Let's talk numbers for a minute. The average new pickup truck payment is over $600 a month. That's over $7,000 a year just in payments, not counting full coverage insurance, which runs another $2,000 yearly for most people. You're looking at nearly $10,000 a year just to own a depreciating asset. Now compare that to buying a $15,000 classic truck with cash. No monthly payments. Cheap insurance. Lower registration fees. And here's the kicker. It's appreciating instead of losing value every single day. I know a guy who bought a 1979 F 150 for 8 grand 3 years ago. He's put maybe 2,000 into it for maintenance and small upgrades. Similar trucks are now selling for 12 to 14,000. He's made money while driving something way cooler than any new truck. One concern people always bring up is parts availability. Here's the truth. Parts for these classic trucks are actually easier to find than parts for trucks from the early 2000s.
Why?
Because there's still huge demand and aftermarket support. Companies like LMC Trucks specialize in restoration parts for these exact models. You can literally rebuild an entire C10 or F100 from their catalog. Try finding interior parts for a 2005 Silverado. Good luck with that. Plus, these trucks share so many parts between years and models. That C10 door handle fits trucks from 1973 to 1987. The Ford 9-inch rear end was used in everything Ford made for decades. Cross-compatibility means more available parts and lower prices. Here's something you can't put a price on. The classic truck community is incredible. Buy any modern truck, and you're just another customer. Buy a classic, and you instantly join a group of people who actually want to help each other out. Need advice on rebuilding a carburetor? There's a forum for that. Looking for a specific part? Someone in the community probably has 3 sitting in their garage. Want to learn how to do bodywork? There's a guy at every car show who'll teach you. I've seen people drive across states to help a fellow enthusiast fix their truck. That kind of community doesn't exist in the new car world where everything's under warranty and dealer dependent. Can you daily drive these trucks? Absolutely, but let's be realistic about what that means. They're not as comfortable as modern trucks.
No EAT de SEATs, no backup câmeras, no Bluetooth.
The air conditioning might work, might not. They're louder, they ride rougher, and they get worse gas mileage. But here's what they do have: character, simplicity, and the satisfaction of driving something real. No computer modules to fail, no sensors to go bad, no software updates required. When something breaks, you can usually fix it with basic tools in your driveway. The sweet spot for most people is using these as weekend drivers or second vehicles. Drive your boring, reliable car during the week, then fire up the classic for errands, car shows, or just because it's a nice day. One insider tip: location matters huge when buying these trucks. Southern trucks are often cleaner because of less road salt, but they command higher prices because everyone knows this. Midwest trucks might have some rust, but can be thousands cheaper. West Coast trucks, especially California ones, are usually the cleanest but most expensive. If you're serious about finding a deal, be willing to travel. A cheap flight and a road trip home can save you serious money and give you a great story about how you got your truck. The classic truck market is heating up, but it's still way more affordable than classic cars. You can get into something genuinely cool and practical for the price of a down payment on a new truck. Plus, you're buying something that's already depreciated. It's only going up from here. These trucks represent the last era when vehicles were simple, fixable, and built to actually work for a living. In a world of complicated modern trucks that cost 50 grand and need computer diagnostics for an oil change, these classics are refreshingly honest. Whether you want something to cruise on weekends or actually use as a truck, any of these 10 options will give you way more character and satisfaction than anything sitting on a dealer lot today. The best part? Your neighbors will actually want to talk to you about your truck instead of just wondering how big your monthly payment is. Don't wait too long though. The vintage pickup truck market is heating up, and these affordable gems won't stay affordable forever. If this got you excited about classic trucks, hit that subscribe button and check out our next video where we break down exactly what to inspect when buying any classic vehicle.